Okay, folks, we have arrived at the Ohio State Reformatory, Mansfield Reformatory, which is now a museum. There it is, very Romanesque, I guess, architecture. Again, built, I believe, about 1890, just before the turn of the 20th century. I believe a lot of this has been torn down, so they're trying to preserve what's left. Oh, I see we have the other part of the group. Made it here first. You don't need to congratulate us. Heroes welcome. Let's see where these guys are parking. Made it. Okay, Mansfield Reformatory. As you can see, it's quite large, quite Gothic looking, although it's considered Romanesque. Okay, here's the scooters. We're all lined up here. Again, nice day out. Quite impressive.
All and outbuildings were demolished by the state in 1994. When the first inmates arrived in 1896, there were no walls surrounding the prison, just the west cell block and the main building. One of the jobs for those first prisoners was to build the walls that would seal them inside and all the others that followed for 100 years. Along the wall were a series of watchtowers. For many years, guards had 8-hour shifts in the towers and remained at their posts until their shift was over. They entered at the west gate and walked along the top wall to their post. In all, there were 6 guard towers that were manned to help keep watch on the activities in the yard and other outbuildings.
1996, when the intermediate penitentiary opened in Mansfield, people around here had never seen anything like it. Or people in Ohio or the entire Midwest, for that matter. And for the next 30 years, the place became something of a tourist attraction. There was a regular reformatory streetcar that brought people out from town, and the trolley was routed past the railroad station in order to pick up out-of-town sightseers as well. The grounds of the institution were kept immaculate by the inmates, and planted with gardens, walking paths, and a scenic gazebo overlooking the lake. For many years, the reformatory was one of the most popular picnic grounds in the area, and people came out to be inspired by the old-world aura of the place, like a medieval fantasy transplanted into the heart of the American Midwest. By today's standards, it's hard to imagine a time when folks were encouraged to loiter around the outside of a working prison. But back in its day, the reformatory was a splendid display of tax dollars at work. So tourists were not only welcome, but accommodated, with box lunches prepared in the reformatory kitchens. In the 1930s, another attraction was added when a talented inmate built a beautiful rock garden next to the lake to provide even more photo opportunities.
Come over here and get the Shawshank Redemption. Oh, Tim Robbins, that's right. Morgan.
Cell block was, and that was after a private ghost hunt. I was locking the building up, and at that time there were 2 of us, and the other volunteer was cleaning, a different part of the building. I was walking down to the end of the cell block on the ground floor, look up, and I see a large shadow pretty much pacing me along the tier. I'm on the ground floor, he's up on the 4th tier. So I walked, and he moved with me to the point of he was kicking off paint chips. Paint chips were coming off the tier while he was walking. So I just kept walking because I've got to walk all the way down to the end and lock a couple doors. He paces me, then he speeds up, goes to the catwalk that shoots over to the library, and he just stands there on the catwalk in full view. And I know I've got to go up there to close that door. Luckily, as soon as I hit the bottom of the stairs on the ground floor to go up, I heard him run up the last flight of stairs into the library, and I went up there, closed that door real quick, and then went back to the bullpen.
Okay, this is the chapel, which is a very big room. Okay, folks, this is the fun part. The actual prison, we're looking down about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5 or 6 stories. Pretty incredible. We're at the top here. Our ancestors were pretty tough on people back then. They just locked you up and that was it.
It seems like they went through phases. At one time they believed in punishment, and
Then reform, and then back to hardcore. Little toilet and sink. Nothing in here. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stories. There's 5 here, then there's a recess, so I'm assuming about 6 stories.
yeah.
What would you call it? Cell block. This is a cell block, I assume. Whatever they call it. As you see, that's pretty far. Lots of inmates. 2 per cell. Okay, looking up. 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 6 stories, if I remember. Okay, this is the shower in the Mansfield Reformatory. As you can see, it's just one big pipe with shower heads on it, and then you have the floor drain right here. Imagine 100 years ago being here at the Mansfield Reformatory, and you and another guy, this is all you had to live in. I tell you one thing, I would go nuts. I couldn't do it. Quite massive too, very tall. I assume very antiquated. Just don't build prisons stacked up this high anymore. I'm sure lots of history here, lots of inmates in and out. Okay, you guys, this is a Hollywood prop. And Brenda, you said in the movie, this is where somebody escaped in this?
Yeah, the Shawshank Redemption. I believe this is where the guy used to escape.
Yeah. Okay, again, this is just a Hollywood prop. Okay, let me get you. Okay. Interesting.
And so, yeah.
Okay, we are walking. Now here's some cells here. Now I'm not sure if this is solitary confinement.
This is solid. See, these rooms,
Oh.
these heavy doors.
Okay, so solitary here, right? They have the solid doors. They don't have the typical iron bars.
Yeah, and the
Okay,
one,
this is the worst of the worst, Daryl. Solitary
this is
confinement.
solitary confinement area.
These are steel solid doors.
Yeah.
And I assume that's from the movie right here.
And I don't think there's lighting in there. So, I mean, all the lighting, only lighting you get would come through this little area.
That's horrible.
And
This is the worst of the worst here.
the tile is-
Now here's some more, here's some regular cells through here.
Yeah, but they're still solitary.
This is still solitary, one person
They
doing
aren't-
it.
Yeah, they have better doors. They have the solid doors
Mm-hmm.
that one wants.
Moving up in the world.
Yeah, you can spend the night here.
Okay, repeat for the audience, Brenda.
There were 1,200 people on this side.
1,200?
And
Okay.
700 people on,
The side we were just at, over here.
okay, 12 down that way, 12 that way, 7.
700 this way.
700 this
Okay.
way, okay.